رحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So, inshallah, we want to touch on some of the burning issues related to marriage and family life, inshallah. And my role is really to just guide the discussion. So I'm just going to mention a few areas that I have identified that we can probably discuss, and then we can also add to those. And as I said, I'll ask for your participation and discussion on these. So first of all, I'll just outline some of the areas that I have identified here. What is the meaning and definition basically of marriage and family? That's one area. What are some of the goals of marriage and how do we work to realize these goals basically? Thirdly, some of the problems related to marriage and family life. And we know there are many warning issues, so we can touch on some of those. And then fourthly, perhaps suggestions of solutions regarding these problems. And whatever else comes up as we discuss, inshallah. I'm sure there will be a lot of overlapping and probably jumping from one thing to another, but the main thing is hopefully we can touch on some of these main areas, and these are just my thoughts. Whatever other areas you think that we also need to discuss, we can discuss those as we go along, inshallah. So, to begin with, if I may ask, what do you think is the definition of marriage and family? So, separately, what is the meaning of marriage and what is the meaning of family? Marriage is a contract. Business contract. Okay, so yes, marriage is a contract. Okay, good. Ahmad?
Marriage is an agreement with two persons, male and female.
Interesting. And very importantly, you mentioned male and female as well. Yes. Uh-huh.
To live a life
Uh-huh.
from that moment until the end, to helping each other, to achieving their goals individually, and one goal together, as in to nurture one another and have something that I would say is beautiful than yourself.
All right. I think it's quite detailed, and you've mentioned the main points of what a marriage should be, and perhaps some of the goals that you hope to achieve out of marriage there as well. Two people, an agreement or a contract between two people to help one another to fulfill their individual and perhaps their collective goals together. Yes? Anything else? So we've got contract and then contract, but in order to fulfill both and between male and female. So yes.
Also, not only a union between two individuals, it's a tri-party relationship where both individuals has to live according Allah comes as third in governing this contract into reality. So it's a tri-party relationship.
Okay. So you bring in the part about fulfilling the working together to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the process.
But it's a tri-party relationship. This marriage, this contract you're taking, it's not only both of you must be conscious, God-fearing, what you're doing. So it's not only between you and your wife, but in every event, it is a tri-party relationship. You, your wife, and Allah.
Okay, mind you, we're speaking here about marriage in Islam, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, yes, anything else with respect to definition of marriage?
Allah says in the Quran, "Inna libasu lakum wa antum libasun lahum." They
Yeah.
are garments for you communal garments for them. And this sort of could imply that you cover them, they cover you. You complement each other.
Right.
You give sort of comfort to each other. Like the same way clothes would give warmth and decoration would make you look nice. Same thing that like a spouse would sort of do the same thing to her husband. And covering faults, covering sort of any deficiencies in that regard.
All right. So
let's say marriage completes a person. But taking from the hadith, the zawj is a twin half of you. So a person without, by himself or herself, is just a part. That both come together and you fulfill a total whole.
So that's a consequence of marriage or a benefit of marriage if you want. Then, yeah, inshallah.
I think that is two people working together as one, but also at the same time, these two people, even though they work together and they are interdependent, they also have to work independently at the same time. So they work both independently.
So they work together, but they are also independent.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, they have some things that they have to do, right? For instance, husband and wife, okay, they have kids and they work to provide for these kids. At the same time, each one of them, they are responsible then for increasing their demand.
But isn't this a collective duty that the two of them can work together too?
Yes, two of them can work together to increase their demand. But I think like within our culture and our society, a lot of times the men think to themselves, well, okay, they have this thing about like I am the boss kind of thing. And this causes the women now, they don't have much time to increase in demand because they're already afraid of the displeasure of their husband. So you see, like they focus a lot of energy upon the husbands and not enough on themselves and raising their demand.
All right. Okay. Good points. Yes, Sister. Okay, so basically what both of you are saying, you're still an individual Muslim who is responsible in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for yourself at the end of the day, regardless of what the other spouse does. So we have things that we have to work on together, but we still have our own individual responsibility in front of Allah, and no one will bear the burden of another, so to speak. All right. Yeah?
Okay, so you said that my mind went to the ayah of Quran where Allah says that the man is responsible for safeguarding his family from a fire.
Say the command to save his family from the fire of hell.
Right. So when you say that, I feel like
Contradiction. Okay. So all right. So interesting question. Probably would have come to that a little bit later on, but since it's mentioned already, who would like to shed some light on that? The sister is saying with the ayah, when we say that everyone is responsible for himself, both spouses are individually in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though they have to support one another. But the sister is saying the ayah says that Allah commands, "O you believe, save yourselves and your families from the fire." So is there a contradiction there? Let me see, sister.
I just want to ask a question before we ask the question. Oh, you believe here mean the man, or it can be both spouse? Okay, it's a family.
That's another discussion.
No, I'm not saying I'm going to
whoever believes, does it not show that they both have a responsibility to each other?
That is my understanding, but I don't know, based on the question that you asked, the man is responsible for the fire. So I'm asking the question if it is the man that I is reporting to, or both spouses.
Okay, so even if it is both spouses, I feel as though still
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
All right,
And
that's
the outcome, children and so forth.
yes, sister.
I guess it would refer to responsibility in marriage and meaning that I'm not going to watch you doing something wrong and say, okay, I'll take you as a woman. You know, you have to I do I. You are responsible to an extent to encourage and I guess within your limits that is allowed in Islam to make the other person do the right thing according to Islam. So like if my dad is responsible for me, there's only so much he could do for me. Meaning that he could guide me and follow me. He has to do what he has to do for me to look at him and as the Shay would have mentioned, action lead by example, basically. That would be his responsibility. But when I leave home or when I'm outside of the home, I make my own decisions. As they would have mentioned either today or yesterday, you are a sum of your decisions. Something around that. So yes, he is responsible to me to an extent, but I will be making my own decisions at the end of the day, and that's where I have to answer.
All right, good. So just to come back to the question the sister asked about the ayah, I think what everybody, what we're saying together is that both the husband and wife have duties to one another. They have to help one another. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded in the Quran that we help one another to achieve righteousness and piety and not to help one another in sin and enmity. Right? So this is definitely duties that both spouses have to one another. But at the